Have you ever thought just how boring or ridiculous news commentary is today? Welcome to the Real Jacks Podcast with Jim and Larry. The Real Jacks Podcast. From crime and politics to entertainment, you can expect something different. Now, let's get real, Jacks.
Hey, welcome back to Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, and Crawfish. Today's guest is Jason French, president of the Mandarin Republican Club. Good to have you.
Hey, yeah, good being here. Good being on.
Appreciate it. Want to get these ads?
Go for it.
The sponsors.
See if we can break another record.
Wings, 4 convenient locations, Family Sports Restaurant Grill. You can find me at Roosevelt Boulevard frequently. More than just wings. Tremendous Barbecue, open since 2007, 8927 Hurlong Road. Open 11 to 8 Tuesday through Saturday and Sunday 11 to 3. Full barbecue menu, everything homemade, cater anything. They love first responders. Advanced Window Tent, 5024 Sunbeam Road, over 26 years experience here. Buddy Ricky Tillman owns them. 3M Platinum Dealer, highest level of 3M dealer around. They tent vehicles, homes, businesses. Secure One Protection Services, Jim's company.
Your number one choice for protection since 1986, 356-1111.
So smooth. Dibble Roofing since 1949. Call Norm at 904-910-5728 or email Norm at norm.dibbleroofing@gmail.com. We got D-Way Towing, our buddy Doug Dixon's company, 100 South Jackson Avenue, numbers 904-356-3929. He's take care of all your towing needs. Shannon Judge with Legends of Real Estate, Shannon Judge Real Estate at gmail.com. Home phone number is 904-200-8158. And lastly, Bounceroo Fun, my buddy Mike Kellum. Actually, a lot of people live in Mandarin that live in your area. Former JSO and friend, serving North Florida over 15 years and over 10,000 parties. Bounceroo offers a large selection of inflatable hoppers, water slides, interactive games, concessions, and frozen drinks. They offer large event tents, tables, and chairs, and always discounts to first responders. Their rental rates, if you rent on the weekend, you keep everything the whole weekend. So
Cool.
let's get into it.
So, Jason,
Yes, sir.
I don't think I've ever seen the president of a Republican club not in a suit, coming in shorts and T-shirts. So you must be trying to appeal
Watching
to
the show. Watching the show.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what it is, yeah.
He's trying to appeal to the younger voters. So,
Well, I'm a Floridian through and through. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
love the shirt, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
That
Yeah,
is
definitely. Don't tread on me. Now, we actually got this shout out to my friend Rachel. She actually started up a group last year in response to the city and all the trampling of our rights that they were doing. It was called, now it's called Veritas y Libertas. You can find them on Facebook. So if you are a conservative-minded person, definitely go check them out. We were formed in response to all the mandates that we had last year, the lockdown, and we see how much of a bad idea that was. So a bunch of us got together and, we were kind of like a force within the city to be able to hopefully enact some change and get people to change some minds. And, they've done a lot with the school board lately, too. So, if you're a parent listening to this, you're concerned about what's going on with your kid in the public school system, definitely connect with them on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll have to get that name. I'll have to check that out. I like that.
Can I get one of those shirts?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, Rachel Haynes is her name. Let me...
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
I'll hit her up and
That's why I'll make sure
that.
if they're still out there, I'd like to get one. Okay.
So how did you get involved in this? What's your personal story? What do you do for work? What led you to be involved in politics in this manner?
Oh, man. First off, happy birthday to the Navy. It's October 13th. I'm a Navy veteran, and it's the Navy's birthday. I think we're, 250 years old or something like that today?
How'd we miss that with our earlier guest? Yeah.
Wait, didn't even mention
We
that?
had a Rear Admiral in here earlier.
2-star Rear
How
Admiral.
long has he been retired for?
Not long.
Not long, I guess. I'm surprised we didn't bring that up, though.
Oh, okay.
I guess he's already checked out, so he's like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's like I'm done over at that. Well, no, that's actually how I got here to Jacksonville. I was actually stationed here for 2 years. And then I was sent over to the West Coast, and then after I was discharged, I was trying to figure out where to go to, and there was a couple of spots on my list, but I was out at Whidbey Island at the time, up in Washington State, and there was no way I was going to stay there. So I applied for University of Florida, University of Texas, and University of North Florida. So UNF took me. So go Ospreys. Came back down here, and then I finished up, and the GI Bill put me through everything. and I was able to get my master's degree. Well, during that time, it was 2009 when I got out, and that was because our new boss had just gotten elected, and he said that the war on terror was over when I was over deployed in the Middle East. And so, I was looking around thinking like, well, if this is my new boss, what exactly am I doing here? So I was like, when it comes time to re-enlist, I'm just going to take my discharge and get out. And so, of course, that was Obama at the time. Well, I come back to the U.S. and, we're in the middle of a recession. All the jobs I had waiting for me were completely gone. So it was weird, like I left and everything was good, and then I come back and we're in the middle of a recession. So when I was in college, I really had to network around a lot to be able to even find a job after I graduated with a master's degree nonetheless. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking if I should go to college or not, really consider whether or not college is right for you. That's just what I'll tell people.
Right.
I think that college is good for some people, but there's other people that just need to drop out of high school after the 8th grade because they need to go be working on the construction site.
Learn
or
a trade.
something.
Learn a trade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was plenty. I knew.
And we're short on tradespeople.
Yeah,
badly.
Get him to do it. That's what my son does. He's finishing his 4-year program, an apprenticeship, and the money they pay and the offers he gets is pretty impressive.
What happened to shop classes in high school?
They hardly do that anymore.
They don't have that anymore.
No, nothing like that.
We had metal shop, graphics, all that stuff, woodworking, all that stuff.
Well, no, we had a guidance counselor, but I mean, what was he, he wasn't guiding me on anything. Yeah. And I mean, the only reason I joined the Navy was because a recruiter got a hold of me. Right. And he was like, what are you doing after high school? And I was like, after high school? Like, you don't even think about it.
Yeah. Is that a thing?
Partying.
Is that a thing?
Oh, no, yeah, that's actually how he got me. He was a good recruiter. We're still friends on Facebook, too. But, he was just he could spot somebody that had no clue which way they're going in life.
And capture you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how it got me. And then I did like the time, when you enlist right after high school, you have to grow up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, there's consequences. If you don't do what you're told to do, then you get thrown in the brig. So that hits you pretty hard, pretty quick. I kind of went down a rabbit trail on that, but after I graduated, I really had to network to be able to find a job, and so I was able to work. People told me go network somewhere. I started networking with Republicans in Jacksonville because I'm like, I like politics. I might as well go network with them. A lot of them were business owners. Maybe I could find somewhere for me. So that's how I got involved with the Republican Club in Jacksonville. And I actually campaigned for Mayor Curry on his first term, not
on his second term.
Not on his second term. Not because he didn't do a good job during his first term, but I was just busy with some other things. Okay. So after I was involved more, I became involved with the Republican Executive Committee, and then that's where I started really learning about how politics inside the city worked. It's a big city. We got a lot of people that think, hey, we should do this, do that. And I was more of a listener more than anything, and I liked my time. But then after around 2016 or so, when Trump got elected, I was like, oh, well, this guy's got it. He's going to get 2 terms, and then we're going to be fine. Conservative America's saved.
Right.
So not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah, then coronavirus happened, then the lockdown, and I started seeing tyranny hitting us, and I was like, what is going on here? So I got involved with so I actually called up some of my friends in the party, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, why is the city on lockdown? Why are we closing up everything because of the flu? And I got in touch with some other people who told me, they're like, Jason, we're getting on board with an attorney that wants to bring a suit towards the city, but we need a business owner that was affected by it. And at the time, my business had just started getting going, but then I ran into some bumps and some issues, and coronavirus wasn't making it worse. So I said, well, I'll be the plaintiff on the lawsuit. So we sued the city over the mask mandate. And so this was July of last year. I was Anthony Sabatini. Do y'all know who that is?
I know who that is, yeah.
Yeah, he was my attorney. And
what was your business?
French capital management. French
Okay,
capital
gotcha.
management. So to kind of backtrack, after I graduated, I started working at Merrill Lynch. As I grew in my career, I decided I wanted to offer. I wasn't satisfied with what I could offer my clients at Merrill Lynch with the toolbox I could work with. I decided I wanted to be independent. So I got a business partner. We started up the company. Well, he died in early 2019. And so that kind of set me back. But now here we are. We're suing the city over the mask mandate because basically, in my field, being a financial planner, you have to present your products to people commonly in like a restaurant setting, right? So you get those things in the mail that say, hey, come, inflation's eating away your portfolio. Then you come and we serve you dinner, and then hopefully maybe I sign up 5 new accounts or something like that. That's how the industry works. Well, I can't do anything if we are on lockdown and stuck in our homes.
I used to get calls from guys like y'all.
There you go.
Do that. About the steak dinner, the whole bit, and then we're going to manage your money for you. But they usually would work on older people.
Yeah.
That was the model, I guess, to work on older couples in retirement and things like that.
Well, yeah, people that are in retirement. Because typically they've got the time to, that's when you're in retirement, that's when you have to look at, hey, how's my financial picture looking? Because now's your time to enjoy that money. You need it to last you until you die. For some people, they look at it like, all right, I want to enjoy it till I die, but then when it's time to have it transferred to my next of kin after my passing, I want to make sure that's set up for that too. And we do a lot of that planning. So that was really our bread and butter. And the business was affected by that. So that's where the lawsuit came from. But Anthony Sabatini was my attorney, and we didn't win, unfortunately, but I think we did make a big impact within the line of thinking that the city had in the response towards coronavirus. Because, I still look at today and I'm like, we look at what other states do, like here in Florida, we're like, what do you mean you're shut down? You can't go anywhere.
Everybody was kind of taken aback that we have a Republican, and I know a lot of this mask thing got very politicized. It seemed like the people on the left were for it and the people on the right weren't. Everybody was kind of confused as to how we had this Republican mayor, and he was always supporting mask mandates, even when the governor was against it. So, any explanation on that?
I think, if you...
Since you got some insight from your suit,
God bless the internet, and here's why. Because if you want to find out answers to questions, you always have to go follow the money, right? So you can go to the Supervisor of Elections website, and you can see all the big money donors that donated to Lenny Curry's campaign during whichever election cycle. And when you start looking at the names in there and doing your own research on the people, then you start seeing like, okay, yeah, and then you see where these donors also donate money to. And I don't have like a compiled list that shows like, oh, if you look at this over here, like I can't just put on a big whiteboard, but you can
see a trend though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got political pressure on him. But the interesting thing is, like with Jacksonville, he passed a mandate, but it wasn't ever really enforced. You look at what's going on in Australia right now. Have y'all seen the videos lately?
Yeah, they're using enforcement.
JSO got a message when that happened that we're not enforcing that.
Good. Yeah. They're using.
Did you really?
They're using physical force. Yeah,
absolutely. We're not enforcing that.
Yeah, good.
Well, why? Like, what's the reason why you wouldn't enforce it though? Like, what is? Because there's two mentalities out there. There is, hey, the chain of command says do this, just do it, right? Versus the other mindset of, hey, if my chain of command tells me this and I don't think it's lawful, like I shouldn't do that, then what do you do?
Probably both of that.
It's
probably some combination of that. We obviously Jacksonville with the violent crime that it has bigger fish to fry than to worry about somebody whether or not they had their mask on. If there was 20 people in the parking lot talking about
you got
and coming out to enforce that.
You got patrol officers tied up on a mask issue.
And I think
other stuff going on.
There would be people complain. There's too many people over there, and you just shake your head. Listening to that sometimes. But
well, it was fortunate enough to the point where we didn't see that, but the potential was there. So the potential was there to be able to actually enforce those policies, because like if you look at what the mandate was in the city ordinance, I'm going to get my terminology wrong down here, but basically with the mandate, it fell under a category of ordinances that can be issued that can be enforced by law. Which means that if you're not compliant, basically,
you use force.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting tased or something like that. You're going to get, you're non-compliant. All right, well, fine, arrest that person. Yeah. We didn't have that because I guess just the reason that you said right there, like it got passed down. Hey, we're not enforcing that if it comes out. I guess that is an option for the police for JSO, right?
So you think the sheriff is a constitutional officer? He's elected just like the mayor. He's not holding to. I'm sure that there's legalities that they can look at and whether or not what we will enforce and what we won't enforce. I mean, obviously there's laws on the books that we don't enforce. That hundreds of years old. That some of the common law stuff that went into
still on there.
Yeah, so some of that we just don't. It's not that. I don't know if there was any intent whether or not we would, but
So you think
logistically enforcing some of that's just beyond what we do. But we did get a lot of calls there in the beginning, and just try. You would go up and talk to people and say, "Hey, listen, there's 200 people in this house.
Yeah,
would you just kind of, give everybody some space? You'd say that's about it. That's you go to a parking lot where people are hanging out. You have 50 people in the parking lot, 100 people in the parking lot. Hey guys, parties, and we had to break up some parties, but that's about the extent of that enforcement was like, hey, let's. Everybody's worried about this right now. Nobody understands it. Can we just give everybody some space, and make sure that we're living as healthy as we can?
So Jason, you think
police are always stuck in the middle of these kind of?
Yeah, they are. Do you think that's this mandate he did was kind of a political appeasement to some of his supporters, but in the back room he's going, don't enforce it though. He's talking to the sheriff going, we're not going to enforce this.
The sheriff can make his own decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, but so why put a law out there, or put this mandate out there that's not going to be enforced? Appeasement?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speculate as to I can only speculate as to reasons why, because I don't know. But I mean, it's like 90% of politics. It's going to be appeasement.
Yeah. Like
when you've got constituents on both sides, people barking for things. You got to do something. And I get that. But yeah, I mean, if it was appeasement, then that's what I see that it was, because obviously it didn't get enforced ever. You didn't see anything like what we had down in Australia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what the purpose of that was, I actually have. Do y'all go down rabbit trails here or anything like that sometimes?
Yeah. Sure, time permitting. Yeah.
Time permit. Okay,
Yeah.
So I honestly think.
We digress. Often.
This one's not a very long one. I think that a lot of the chief medical officers of the hospitals here in Jax, I think that they were telling Mayor Curry, like, hey, if this thing is as bad as the CDC thinks that it is, we don't have the capacity to be able to handle all these people.
Probably not.
Because you think about like this, we anticipated like it was back in April or May last year, we thought it was going to be like post-apocalypse America we were walking around in.
Well, that's what the news media.
Yeah.
The news media made you believe that, though.
Yeah.
The television news media.
Well, with everything, with everything going on, people are naturally very, we are very frightened by anything that we don't understand, and we will just, like if we're driving down the road, we can all be talking on a bus or something like that, carrying on, joking, laughing. Well, guess what? That bus falls off a bridge and goes into water. Everyone's going in panic mode, because it becomes a fight for survival. I think a lot of chief medical officers told Mayor Curry to be extra cautious. I think they advised him on that because they persuaded him that if he didn't do something, then he was going to have some kind of blood on his hands, basically. Now, I don't want that. I don't, you wouldn't want that. But, so, I mean, what do you do?
So you think he was CYA mode?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
100%. But, I mean, when you're in office like that, I think 90% of the day is CYA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, just look at, and the higher you go up, you go from like a municipal office to state office to the
it
DC.
depends on their political aspirations. If he wants to have a long-term political career, every move he makes is going to be based on his future.
Yeah.
And what his future plans are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's why things change a lot of times in someone's last term. if they're not running for office somewhere else, that last term's always different than that first term, unless you know for sure they're going to run for whatever the next level is.
Oh yeah, then they can just let it go, and it's basically the devil may care at that moment.
Right.
That's why I prefer politicians that don't run like that.
Right, and we need term limits.
You mean an idealist politician, or do you like a pragmatist better than idealist?
Some combination of both, but somebody that's not easily influenced by, some of them are like a flag. They'll bow to this opinion, and they try to balance things too much instead of having an idealist.
Yeah,
I do prefer an idealist.
I have always referred to Democrats though as more of idealist and Republicans as realist. So, or more pragmatic. So, I mean, exactly what you said. When you said that, I was like, dang, somebody else has that same analogy I use. Is one side's idealist, one side's realist.
Well, Trump was he was an idealist to me. He wasn't. He obviously he had the business sense, but that was his strength. I think was outside the norm. Now, was it effective in some ways? In some ways, no. In some ways, yes. I mean, we had some changes, but sometimes he wasn't so effective because he was just so
direct. Is it direct? Is direct?
Yeah.
He was unique.
That's
for sure. That's for sure. Yeah.
Bellicose. Yeah. He's so bellicose.
Yeah. So you're president of the Mandarin Republican Club.
Yep, that's correct.
My primary residence is in Mandarin.
Oh, you should definitely come to our club meetings sometimes.
Where's the I'm on Mandarin Road, so where's the meetings at?
Oh, okay. It's not too far. It's you know where St. Mary's Seafood is at on Old St. Augustine Road?
Sure do.
Every fourth Thursday, starting at 6 p.m., that's when our social is, and then our actual meeting starts at 6:30. And I try to be punctual since it's a weeknight, and I try to have the meeting done by at least 7:30. But you're free to hang out and mingle for like an extra hour or two if you want to, and the staff there doesn't mind because and they got a full bar there too. Also, great food. I don't know if y'all are seafood fans.
I am a huge seafood fan.
Oh yeah, there's shrimp bowls to die for over there.
Well, my concern is if I show up, I might get involved. And I've been doing that sort of thing for 20, 25 years. I'm trying to gravitate away from that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, no. If I see your name and phone number on my list that's in there, I will try to take life away from you.
Call me.
I will be like, this guy was interested enough to come out here. He probably wants to do a little bit more. Yeah, but no, we've got 55 members now.
Nice. And
I would be totally in the wrong if I didn't mention that I did not start the Mandarin Republican Club. It was started by Robert and Millie McLean 25 years ago. But they stepped down because it was time for them to start focusing on the family a little bit more. They got, because after doing that for 25 years, and it's not a paid position.
No.
It's not a paid position. I took up on it because they wanted somebody that lived in Mandarin that was able to do that. So I said, okay, yeah, I'm interested in doing that because I don't want to let the club go.
Right.
The Republican Party, under the leadership of Dean Black right now, who's our chairman, his entire focus is like a decentralized recruiting system. He wants there to be as many clubs in Jacksonville as possible, and the business model he's using has reflected that. We used to have 3 or 4 clubs. I think we're up to like 12 this year now.
They just started a Northside Republican Club, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how you do it. So the clubs, the focus of the club is that's kind of like your introduction into local politics. If you are upset about most people that aren't involved in politics, they have no clue how the political system works, or the government system. So the first thing that they do is they say, you know what, let me go find out some more information. They come out to the club, they get a chance to meet me and the other officers, and the first thing I always ask is, what are you doing here? And I hope it's because you have something to complain about, because I love hearing complaints, because that's what we're all about, is change in action. So lately, the biggest thing we've heard lately is trash pickup.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, we just had a long conversation about that. Yeah, especially in the Mandarin area.
Well, are you all victims of that too? I mean, are they not? Yeah.
I'm on the west side, and our yard waste is sitting there, and then our recycling bin. A couple of them are empty, but
our recycling's been like
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My recycling bin is still full.
Well, the recycle is now merged.
And my yard waste, because I've got a 5-acre tract, and there's several pieces of land. We all have this private road that connects, but you have to bring your trash up front. But between everybody's yard waste, it's bigger than this. It's about the size of this room.
My yard waste is piling up in Mandarin.
Yeah,
and we've had issues with garbage pickup there. From what I know of, for the last 5 years, sometimes stuff doesn't get picked up, sometimes it does. But right now, the big issue is yard waste. But I've also got property in the beaches,
yeah.
and that company, I can't think of the name of it.
That's not Waste Pro, also, is it?
No, well, I don't. They're amazing though.
Yeah.
It's a different company than Mandarin. They're amazing, and they've always been amazing. They'll take anything. You drag a car to the street, and they'll pick it up and stuff it in the back. Anything you drag out there, they'll jump out and they'll high five you, and you can help them load it up.
Yeah.
Never an issue with the guys at the beach. So I wish the city would explore that company or whatever. I know it's all a contract thing and lowest bidder or whatever. So
Yeah. Well, we can definitely recommend that. Down in Mandarin, our city councilman is Michael Boylan, a friend of mine, and he has been very much in touch with everybody. Like if they have trash issues, he'll say, "Hey, put a ticket in. Let me know what the ticket let me know what the ticket number is. Send it to his office. Then he'll go and he'll start talking to Waste Pro.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Well, I've got the email of the guys way at the top now, and I send them direct emails, but I'm not hassling them because I know they have a serious problem going on. They've got a manpower problem.
Yeah.
So it's not just my stuff that's not getting picked up, and I don't want to be, hey, will you just come get my stuff? Everybody's having that problem. So
well, so what do you
it's all throughout Mandarin.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's going on what do you think's going on with Jacksonville? Like if we can't even perform a basic city function now.
Well, according to the guy we just had in here, they're having manpower problems. Yeah.
Oh, come on, speak up. That's what the.
Well, some of these firms are having manpower problems.
Manpower problems.
Yeah.
And the city used to have. We had subcontractors, but we were in charge of a lot of city. There was a lot of city functions that the city handled themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without farming it out.
You're talking about before consolidation?
No. Since.
Oh, okay.
And then we had city employees that could probably have done a lot of this stuff, but we've created a monster, and a lot of it's not just local, but we created a monster. We got rid of retirement for a lot of these city employees. Well, now they just chase a dollar. So the attrition rate on companies with 401k is about 40%. So, they see another company here that's offering $1 more an hour to drive a truck, $1 more an hour here. They can get a 401k anywhere.
Yeah.
They used to have a pension with the city. They can get a 401k anywhere, and they'll get Social Security because there's no Social Security with the city.
Right.
So you don't get Social Security or a pension, either one. All you have is 401k. So if you're offering that and the match is high, that's great. But now you can go make $1 an hour somewhere else with a 401k. Why do that?
It's math. Yeah.
Yeah.
People aren't dumb.
And
It's
that's
math.
the same thing's going to happen with police. They're going to get retention, and we're the only place in Florida now that only has a 401a.
You talk about JSO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get them, they'll vest their time, and they're going to go to Pinellas County, Tampa, Hillsborough, because nobody else is around it. And actually, they got this big study, the ICP report I talked about that we waited 2 years on. That's definitely mentioned in that report that now that JSO doesn't have this and the other agencies do, that they're going to have to keep an eye on it because it's going to be a concern. And not to segue into JSO stuff, but I think it's another thing when you have these employees. The city can function a lot because you go to work for the city, police, fire, public works, whatever it is, you're not going to make a ton of money.
Right.
You can have a halfway decent retirement. That's kind of the reason it keeps them here. But once that's removed, it's wherever the dollar is.
But
now it's not just they're going to go do Waste Pro. They can go drive a truck for Cisco. Yeah. I mean, the Cisco guy's having trouble, getting people to fill these roles. He'll track a guy down driving a truck and say, "How much you making an hour?" And then he'll offer him $1 an hour more to go drive a truck for this company.
So they're just poaching people.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, "Hey, you're a driver. Hey, come on over here and do the same thing."
Everybody's doing that now. Poaching one person.
You act different when you got something to lose. So the guys wouldn't leave because they had something long term that they had. They don't have that now.
Yeah.
So now they go anywhere they want, just like that.
So let me ask you something. What if isn't the solution at that point then to maybe
subcontract? They need to subcontract. Yeah.
They are subcontract.
Well, at that point, so like the city budget is what, $2.2 billion per year, right? Something like that. Yeah. So we spend. I can count maybe $500 million is just spent on useless programs or something like that get no results. I shouldn't say useless. I should say redundant programs. Like, hey, the objective of this program is to do that. Well, we already have something for doing that, But the state just keeps on throwing money at things sometimes.
1.4.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.41. Okay, so I was wrong.
But when I said subcontract, I was talking about the trash solution.
Yeah.
That the company that's hired, they can't get help. They need to, like I own a business.
Yeah.
I'm 5, 6, 7 employees short. So
You can't, because you can't fill the position.
not at all. Not at all.
Now, what was your business?
Not at all. Security systems company. Secure One.
That's right.
So we can only take as much business as we can handle.
Yeah.
I've got
these are techs or reps or sales reps?
everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And I've got friends that own even bigger businesses, other types of businesses, like a guy that owns a restaurant chain. He goes, I can't run my restaurant chain at full capacity and make the money I should be making. I can't seat every table in here because I can't get enough help
See that firsthand.
all the time.
The new company I'm working for.
So back to the subcontract thing, we lean on subcontractors. There are people out there that do work for themselves and they do subcontract work. And just like the city pickup, there are companies, you hire a company that may be out of St. Johns County and say, come over and help us solve this problem until we can solve our manpower problem. So,
Yeah.
but there's solutions. It's just, I don't know.
It's a regular thing
Yeah.
to talk about problems and solutions in the city of Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, guys, you look through the budget and, like, let's just take, for example, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this right here, but I'll just come out and say it. There are grant programs that the city gives out to teach kids to learn how to read. Public school students. Isn't the job of the public schools supposed to teach kids how to read?
Right. Shouldn't be any incentive. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of your job.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like, and then it's like, and I'm going to get in trouble with all my friends that are teachers now because I'm going to say this, but they always, the teachers, it's a common thing out there, like, teachers don't get paid enough for what they do. Well, okay, so if you're doing such a great job, then how come we have to pay all these programs to be able to supplement your deficiencies?
Yeah, we get that's a whole nother show. In all seriousness, I really, we could have you back. We could talk about that because that is
I'd love to
an
talk
issue.
about it.
Police don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, and I'm not bashing teachers either. Like, thank you for all that you do,
Yeah.
but I do know that the fact
that's
is
part of your job description. Teach Johnny how to read.
well, no, their hands are tied. Their hands are tied by a broken system.
Yeah.
But you talk about the police department also. So you think that the police department do you think we're underfunded, overfunded? Do you think
I don't think the funding's a problem. I think
Allegation.
manpower
Allocation.
I've done an entire series on that.
manpower allocation? Okay.
Manpower
Allocation.
allocation is lacking. This ICP report, some interesting stuff. So I think that we could do a little better job of that, and where we spend our money there, and obviously give them a reason to want to stay here and not go to other agencies. We could fix a lot of problems in Jacksonville.
Yeah. So instead of having issues like where we train a rookie cop, and then all of a sudden like somebody else, another police department officer.
So if they walk out the door, you don't replace them the next day.
And it costs a fortune to train them.
About $75 to $100,000 by the time you replace that officer.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they go to, and heck, they can go to St. Johns County. Some of these places that make just as much money, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Tampa, wherever. When they walk out the door, you're spending $75 to $100,000 in a year to get that body replaced.
Yeah.
Jason,
You're constantly hiring. So
we got to wrap because we had somebody else come in, but I just want to say the smaller agencies around JSO used to be the kind of training grounds for JSO, and then they were feeders into JSO. It's the opposite now. People are getting trained at JSO, which is some pretty high level training. Got a great academy, and they're leaving. They're going to
beach.
They're going to the small agencies.
Never hear that.
Yep. So
Well, good.
Yeah.
hey, appreciate having you.
Yeah, that's great, man.
We'd love to. Glad we met. I'll talk to you after the show about getting my shirt and some issues I've got in Mandarin. But would like to have you back if you'll come back.
Yeah, I'd love to. You guys have got a great show. When I heard this came on here, like I know it's still new, I was like, all right, that's what we need around here because we didn't have a good podcast in this city.
We keep hearing that. Yeah, I guess we're doing something. Something right? We still haven't figured out why we're doing the show, but we're
that's part of the therapy of creating it. So,
yeah.
All right.
That was Jason French. He is president of the Mandarin Republican Club and also the owner of French Capital Management. Right?
That's it.
Okay. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks everybody. That was Real Jacks with Jim, Larry, and Crawfish. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.